Manager, what be these shining fruits? But I wanna see, but I wanna see, but I wanna see, but I wanna see!
Wake up, Dante! Welcome aboard, recruit! We're going on a road trip and our first stop is Canto 1, the Outcast. Here we'll explore the Lobotomy catacombs and learn about Gregor's PTSD. This is our crew, the Pressed Emo, a nerd named after a German thing, Don Quixote, like, you know, literally the one from the book. Ryoshu, we don't talk about her. Meursault, he doesn't talk, but when he does, he's smarter than Faust. Honglu, he's a BTS stinger. Heathcliff, he's British, mate. Ishmael, she is Fishmael. Rodion, she likes to gamble and eat, truly the pinnacle of sinning. Sinclair, he's a twink. Otis, she's our deputy chief of glazing. And Gregor, who is secretly Ben 10. I am Virgilius, your guide, and I am super cool. And we'll be rating all of these Cantos in a tier list from Mid's dog water to absolute cinema. Now that we're settled in, let's head over to our first destination. We pull up to the hood in our brand new bus and kill homeless people along the way in order to fuel the said bus. For some reason, our driver is a child whose paycheck is in candies and is also unable to read a map, but let's not worry about that. This Canto is about investigating gold Lobotomy Corporation facilities in the back streets. We also hired a few fixers to show us around. Meet Yuri. No, like she's literally called Yuri. There's also Aya and Hopkins. We find the entrance to the facility and turns out this place is actually quite of a popular hot drop location for offices and fixers due to all kinds of loot and most importantly drugs. Like it's even trending on Limbus Hub with tags like Lobotomy Dream or the Encephalin Rush. Anyways, we fight through some bug people, abnormalities and really big abnormalities. We also get to experience Gregor's war PTSD. And then after doing all of the work, Yuri sadly dies to a fucking golden apple and we get our golden bow straight up stolen by a group of our ex-friends and mother, I guess. This Canto overall is pretty meh, not bad, but definitely the lamest one compared to all the other peak ones ahead. But you could say it was a needed foundation for the rest of the game, so it's acceptable. Canto 2, the unloving. In it we go gambling! But wait, it's not that simple. The LCCB has devised a plan. The golden boat is located under a casino and multiple other groups want it. In order to win it, we'll be playing a game of poker, except we've got a magical tattoo that can rig luck and guarantee us a win. You have to stay undercover until you reach the top and do your thing. We'll be accompanying you to make sure nobody messes anything up. Yeah, it seems that with Don Quixote we're literally cursed to not be able to do anything right, so instead of being sneaky we just go in guns blazing and fight our way to the top through an army of security guards and Mexicans. Rodion finally gets to play the game and a bootleg Lobotomy Corporation Sephiroth thinks we're cheating, but he is wrong, so he just gets crushed. Sonia then quits when our mini army falls through the door and the Mexican doesn't wanna quit, so we have to slime them out. Finally we reach the basement and it turns out it's actually a slave mine, but that's irrelevant. Then we get chased by the ice castle from Frozen, but it's also irrelevant and woohoo, our first golden bow acquired. Now this Canto is considered pretty boring by most people, and I mean, I don't know, I think it was a 50-50. The casino sequence was pretty funny and I just overall found the whole design really interesting, so it wasn't that bad. But compared to other Cantos, this one is mid at best. Canto 3, the unconfronting. We pull up to the border of District 11 and wait, a family is in trouble, what do we do? You can't make this up. At this point in the game, I really thought the story was just gonna be about Don Quixote fucking everything up and then us having to do everything the hard way. But then we got massacred by some gay-looking superstar and Virgilius beats up Don Quixote, so perhaps we finally learned our lesson. As per usual, our task is to retrieve the golden bow, which for some reason is located in Sinclair's basement. So we just walk in, his family serves us dinner and we grab the bow and leave. I'm just kidding. It turns out the whole place has been destroyed by the Holy crusades that is for some reason led by an absolute baddie, and I know I have glazed her in literally every one of my videos, but I really don't care. Anyways, we find our co-workers completely fucked up, which leads to Sinclair crashing out since the same person brutally murdered his dear once again, but luckily our licensed therapist Don is quick to deal with it. They spend the rest of the Canto fighting a bunch of crusaders and then finally fight Cromer, except damn, she's kind of tough. We almost all die, but then miraculously Sinclair's old friend Demian just pulls up and one-shots Cromer's, so yeah, fuck us I guess. Overall, I really liked this Canto. The Crusader team was cool, Don was cool, Cromer was the opposite of cool, so honestly it can get on a cool tier since the idea is there, but I feel like it still suffered from the technical limitations that all of the earlier Cantos had. Canto 4, The Unchanging. We've been hired to do a job in K-Corp and play seemingly most ideal. However, on our way we have to fight through multiple abnormalities, and most notably this bull all was being monitored by drones that are seemingly working for Lively. I remember I was stuck on him for a day until a Reddit post most ingenious told me to swap my team to be fully blunt resistant. We finally meet with the people who have hired us, and it turns out many of them are Yi-Sang's ex-friends, precisely from the group of 9 literatures. To keep this story short, we get attacked by terrorists, half of the people there go insane, we fight Dongbak, which was an extremely annoying boss that also took me on Solid's day to beat. We find out the truth behind their abnormality, and Yi-Sang is literally just ultra depressed during his whole existence. But as much as the story was confusing like spaghetti, storytelling wise I did enjoy it, and it was really cool seeing Yi-Sang do the fly my little wings. I remember the hype in me watching this cutscene even though I only partially understood what was going on and my phone was genuinely fighting for life running this shit. Overall, this was quite of a slow paced Canto compared to most, but I think it's a core part of the Limbus experience, and it was cool that the design of the game finally decided to punish the win rater, so I don't know, it's worthy of like a minus B tier. Canto 5. Now this Canto was actual hell. It sure thing nailed its theme, since playing through all of the story and random ass encounters genuinely felt like a year-long voyage. And that is without mentioning the annoying pirates and Ricardo. Haha, Paralyzed is so much fun, or wait, my sinners that are already falling apart and only have default egos that do 20 damage didn't stagger him in 3 turns, bye bye. After that, we get swallowed by the Veil, fight through another shit ton of enemies and a few actually really difficult bosses. I didn't mention these guys in my bosses video, but Prime Kree Kwang is a genuine menace and an underrated really difficult boss. These other two not so much, but they definitely were annoying. And then, after we defeat Ahab, which turned herself into Thanos, Ishmael finally kills the damn Veil and we get out of there for good. Yeah, that was so much fun, let's not do that ever again. Anyways, overall, as much as I wanna hate it, I genuinely felt like a mentally stronger person after beating it despite reaching minus 45 sanity multiple times. And it was pretty interesting seeing Ishmael's memories and her temporarily turning into a schizo-psycho. So honestly, I know it's basically only been B tiers for now, but I wouldn't wanna put this one anywhere else, or actually it can get like an B+ because the Ishmael plus Compass cutscene was really beautiful. Canto 6, The Heartbreaking. Heathcliff receives an invitation from his girlfriend to her mansion, so now we have to get him all fancy looking. He gets some hairstyling, they get him a fancy suit, and wow, now that's a fine looking British man. Anyways, we're greeted by Nelly and plot twist, Catherine is dead, and even though I made a rap battle video where Virgilius uses a Catherine mention line like 5 times, I do really feel bad for the guy. You could say that he has nothing but sorrow and wants nothing more. This story does get quite complex, but to sum it up, it's just absolute cinema. I really enjoyed the mysterious vibe of the haunted house, the heartbreaking depressing memories of like literally everyone. Then there were a shitton of plot twists I genuinely did not see coming. Zombie rabbits? Nah, that's only in movies. Serial killer Heathcliff traveling time on a horse? You must be crazy. Or Nelly betraying us, or Virgilius finally making his first appearance, which was really epic, and then we finally reached the rooftop. You know, I listened to True Patches of Violet a lot before I actually played this Canto, so I thought it was just another cool random Millie song, but then in the finale, when I connected the lyrics to the story and memories, the literal Patches of Violets, the final battle, the delete, I literally had a spiritual orgasm, like I straight up had to stand up and give a big applause to my screen. Then there was also the really cool Hurkling Heathcliff fight alongside alongside Catty, and for me they hit a sweet spot between challenging but also not absurdly difficult. And unlike some previous Cantos, this story and battles felt fresh from the start to finish. There were great fights, great music, great characters. This Canto was just peak and it's probably my favorite Canto. It's kind of hard for me to decide that since every Canto feels good in their own way, but this one was just great in every way, so yeah, peak tier. Canto 7, The Dream Ending. Now honestly, this Canto is a bit of a blur for me cause I played most of it in school at 9 AM, but some things I certainly remember. First of all, I remember that almost every boss was genuinely obnoxious, mainly due to big walls of text and the fact one failure to intercept their attack literally cut me up. I've also faced another really big issue. My broke-ass free-to-play accounts didn't have any healing egos or identities besides Ishmael Bygone Days ego. And if we ignore that you have to do a literal math formula in order to understand how much healing you're getting, on average it heals 2 of my sinners like 20 to 30 HP. So half of my gameplay was literally just farming these ego resources like on Roblox Tycoon and then using Ishmael's healing ego every single turn in order for us all to not bleed to death. And whilst doing all of that, I also had to, you know, do the actual fight, which was not easy, especially when on top of everything you have these mosquitoes to bite you in the ass. Now let's just conclude the fights as annoying and talk about the Canto itself. We're sent to investigate La Mancha land, a mysterious cursed amusement park filled by vampires. And that's because it's been created by like one of the super OG vampires, Don Quixote. But no, not this Don Quixote, meets the actual Don Quixote. And this is actually Sancho, who is his child and has been severely lobotomized. But before we find out this insane revelation, we get bullied by a magical vampire that forces us to act in children's book stories. Needless to say, Dawn was having the time of her life. However, due to this play, her memories came back after drinking from the magical river and she actually locks in. So later we fight her briefly, which was a really cool fight, and then we fight her father, which was a fight I genuinely could not beat and had to use my solo Don't Sink crew, whatever the fuck this is, to cheese it. Again, I don't know, am I just bad, but my little healing was not enough for all of the unbreakable coins this guy could molest me with. But after we beat him, a cutscene happens and the two of them fight, and this has to be one of the best cutscenes in the game. First, the epic intro, then you tap the screen like an idiot as they land, there's fireworks, banger milli music is playing in the background and its lyrics connect to everything as well. Then she stabs and kills her father, who just wanted the best for everybody but was a little crazy. Then she cries, the emotions, the writing, the music, the visuals, I can't lie, it was all over the screen when I played this. And it felt like such a great reward for the suffering I had to go through to reach it. And also, I think it's pretty funny that all of the levels' names are just Don Quixote yapping in full caps. So you know, with absolute fire cinema tier, but fuck all of these guys, they are being deported from the Canto. Canto 8, The Surrendering Witness. Now, this is the first Canto that feels like a square, you know, like a proper school assignment with a solid introduction, the climax complication, and then the resolution, whilst every other Canto story feels like this. Anyways, we're here because it turns out that Honglu actually has a gigantic family in China, and I mean a massive one, and they happen to be basically a royal family whose grandma is currently ruling over the whole district. However, she's getting old, so now they're doing a big family Squid Games event to decide who gets to rule next, but shit hits the fan real quick. We participate in these games but don't want to actually win and make Honglu the ruler, but rather gets the golden bow. To keep the story short, in the finale things get complicated, but we achieve our goal and our little sister becomes the ruler. Except literally everyone realizes they could just kill her and profit, so now we have to survive a whole ass siege. There's also a very cool man named Li Hang who loves biscuits and spamming unbreakable coins. We escort her to the elders so she can save the kingdom, but it turns out the elders are all ugly ass eldritch abominations and are locked up like Araya in some small temple where they spied on us half of our life through Honglu. Obviously everybody's freaked out, so we just have a battle and even the annoying Illuminati show up, but we managed to do our job, so who cares? So is it a good Canto? Well yes, it had great music, really well designed fights and bosses, an interesting story plot, and I just found the whole atmosphere and theme really cool. But then again, I don't know, for me personally it just felt like it missed that something special Cantos like 6, 7 or 9 had, but maybe this is a personal preference as again the Canto is really well thought out and made. And I guess not every Canto is meant to be an emotional drama spectacle, so technicals wise it will be an S tier, but for me personally it's like an B tier at best, and only because of the sexy characters. Canto 9, The Unsevering. Now this is by far the craziest Canto out of them all. First of all, we start with a visit to Limbus Company HQ, but we are suddenly raided by an unknown group who is here to steal the golden bow and just straight up kick our ass. So we teleport inside to help get the situation under control, but we get split up by a door malfunction and the game literally turns into Five Nights at Freddy's The City Edition. Hockenheim and Martin had to fix the power generator while Callisto and his robot's daughter were roaming the hallways. Moses and the gang are spectating Matthias demolish everything whilst his daughter Kira just sneaks up on them, but she's a chill guy so they don't fight. This is literally like that classic situation in the movies when like a baby bear or dinosaur or something like that gets to a group of characters and they're like, oh my god, it's so cute, and then the angry mama pulls up. Except this time it's a crazy single father from the middle who has an ancient relic sword, magical tattoos and his own boss team. But luckily Vespa pulls up to save them, and whilst sure he is kind of cool, I really can't take him seriously whatsoever. Like this has to be the most chopped color fixer in the Project Moon universe. Hopefully I'm not triggering a shadow group of Vespa fangirls, but all of the other color fixers, when you see them you know you fucked up real bad, but if this guy pulled up on me I will just start laughing. Okay, the code can pass, alright, it ain't that bad, but that bowl cut is not cooking, especially in the combo with those glasses. Also, being named after a scooter brand is pretty crazy work, and for some reason he's wearing a swimsuit shirt alongside of his pants. If he showed up to fight me I will be like, damn, is this some nerd I took lunch money from 10 years ago and now he's discovered steroids so he's here to get payback, even though I've literally never done that to any nerd. Anyways, Dante unlocks a new power, the Black Silence is here and we fail to save the golden bows. It turns out that we got raided by the House of Spiders. For context, it's a place where a group of Avengers from 5 different fingers raised baby Ryoshu to become a weapon of mass destruction. After some time, we launch our own raids to get the bows back, and I've just gotta praise how the story here isn't locked behind 100 of the same enemies. Sure, instead there's a boss like almost everywhere and they're all beautifully designed, most are honestly pretty easy, and in the process of all of that we learn about Ryoshu's daughter and her tragic backstory. And then in the finale we get hit by the classic juicy melee song that's connected to the lore. I mean, this Canto was just peak, I could yap about it for many more minutes, but we all know this is going into absolute fire cinema tier plus. Do you agree or disagree with my ratings? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Also, if you wanna see me rank and yap about almost all of the bosses in the game, you should totally check this video out, or my playthroughs of Lobotomy Corporation and Library of Ruina. Anyways, thank you a lot for watching, please subscribe as I spent infinite amounts of time on this video even though I have final exams right now. Shoutouts to my patrons and server boosters, and I'll see you next time.